Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christina Worcester, and in this video we will be doing the April 2026 reading roundup. I read 6 books this month, which is pretty good for me. I'd say it's above average. First up, we've got Celestial Monsters by Aiden Thomas. This is the second book in the Sunbearer duology and was also on my 10 before the end of 2026. New York Times bestselling author Aiden Thomas returns to the beloved world of the Sunbearer Trials and Celestial Monsters, a heart-stopping duology finale in which 3 young semi-dioses travel through a dark, monster-infested world facing down chaotic obsidian gods in a quest to save their friends and return the sun to the sky. Teo never thought he could be a hero. Now he doesn't have a choice. The sun is gone, the obsidian gods have been released from their prison, and chaos and destruction are wreaking havoc on Reino del Sol. All because Teo refused to sacrifice a fellow semidios during the Sunbearer trials. With the world plunged into perpetual night, Teo, his crush Aurelia, and his best friend Nia must journey to the dark wilderness of Los Restos, battling vicious monsters while dealing with guilt, trauma, and a very distracting burgeoning romance between Teo and Aurelio. Determined to rescue the captured semidioses and retrieve the Soul Stone, the trio races against the clock to return Soul in their protective light. With it, order can be restored. The future of the whole world is in their hands. I liked this book, maybe not quite as much as I liked the first book, but I did like it. The romance was nice. I enjoyed getting Zio, or however you pronounce his name, his point of view. And, yeah. The first book was like a trials setup. This one is more like a quest. So I would recommend reading both books, but just know that tonally they do differ somewhat. Next up, we have Murder Between Friends by Liz Lawson. 2 years ago, the murder of a neighbor tore 3 best friends apart. Now the killer is going to walk free, and the ex-friends are going to have to face the past and each other in another twisty thriller from the New York Times bestselling co-author of The Agathas. Grace, Henry, and Allie grew up together on the same block. They used to be best friends, until Grace's testimony put Henry's brother Jake away for killing their English teacher. Now, 2 years later, Allie and Henry hate Grace, and Grace is doubting what she thinks she saw that night. It feels like everyone's getting a second chance then, when due to a mistrial, Jake is suddenly released. And Henry knows his brother is innocent, but when Grace reaches out to say she's rethinking what she saw the night of the murder, Jake's reaction is confusing. He doesn't want Henry or Grace getting involved. For Allie, not getting involved isn't an option, and there's nothing Grace can say to convince Allie she's not the enemy. But can Allie afford to push Grace out when she's one of the only other people willing to believe in Jake's innocence? The clock is ticking. Jake's new trial date is about to be set, and he's sure to be found guilty again unless there's new evidence to prove he's innocent. Grace, Henry, and Allie are going to have to decide whether you can trust an old friend now that they're your enemy. I did not like this book. It wasn't for me. I found the main characters to be immature and trying to read about, which made the plot then feel unrealistic, that this group of teenagers could actually solve a murder when they should have just been like trying not to claw each other's eyes out. Or at least that's how it seemed to me. Next up, we have Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is the 10th book in the Hercule Poirot series. I probably pronounced that wrong, but that's okay. Just after midnight, a snowdrift stops the famous Orient Express in its tracks as it travels through the mountainous Balkans. The luxurious train is surprisingly full for the time of year, but by the morning, it is 1 passenger fewer. An American tycoon lies dead in his compartment, stabbed a dozen times, his door locked from the inside. One of the passengers is none other than Detective Hercule Poirot, on vacation. Isolated and with a killer on board, Poirot must identify the killer in case he or she decides to strike again. I really enjoyed this book, more than I was expecting to, because I don't usually enjoy classics. It did drag a little bit in the middle when all he was doing was like interviewing people, but then it really picked up for me at the end. And if you want to know my thoughts that include spoilers, I made a whole vlog just about this book, and myself trying to solve it in all its spoilery glory. Next up, we have another 10 before the end of 2026 book, The Sacred History by Donna Tartt. Truly deserving of the accolade modern classic, Donna Tartt's novel is a remarkable achievement, both compelling and elegant, dramatic and playful. Under the influence of their charismatic classics professor, a group of clever, eccentric misfits at an elite New England college discover a way of thinking and living that is a world away from the humdrum existence of their contemporaries. When they go beyond the boundaries of normal morality, they slip gradually from obsession to corruption and betrayal, and at last, inexorably, into evil. This is a real tough book to classify how I felt about it. It was certainly intense. It was an experience. Did I enjoy it? I'm not sure still. This was kind of my first foray into the real world of dark academia, and I think I'm a little scared to go back. Next up, we have a novel love story by Ashley Poston. A professor of literature finds herself caught up in a work of fiction, literally. Eileen Merriweather loves to stay lost in a good happily ever after. The fictional kind, anyway, because at least imaginary men don't leave you at the altar. She feels safe in a book, at home, which might be why she's so set on going to her annual book club retreat this year. She needs good friends, cheap wine, and grim romantic gestures, no matter what. But when her car unexpectedly breaks down on the way, she finds herself stranded in a quaint town that feels like it's right out of a novel. Because it is. This place can't be real, and yet she's here, in Oloriton, the town of her favorite romance series, where the candy store's honey taffy is always sweet, the local bar's burgers are always a little burnt, and rain always comes in the afternoon. It feels like home. It's perfect, and perfectly frozen, trapped in the late author's last unfinished story. Elsie is sure that's why she must be here, to help bring the town to its storybook ending. Except there is a character in Oloriton that she can't place, a grumpy bookstore owner with mint green eyes, an irritatingly sexy mouth, and impeccable taste in novels, and he does not want her finishing this book, which is a problem because Elsie is beginning to think the town's happily ever after might just be intertwined with her own. This was a cute book, a fun romance, not too sexual, which I always appreciate. I didn't love how many times I had to hear about the guy's minty eyes. Like, we get it, Ashley, but minor things. And last, we have The It Girl by Ruth Ware. This is on my 25 before 25 list, as was The Secret History, but I forgot to mention that, so I'm mentioning it now. April Coots Cliveden was the first person Hannah Jones met at Oxford. Vivacious, bright, occasionally vicious, and the ultimate it girl, she quickly pulled Hannah into her dazzling orbit. Together they developed a group of devoted and inseparable friends, Will, Hugh, Ryan, and Emily, during their first term. By the end of the second, April was dead. Now, a decade later, Hannah and Will are expecting their first child, and the man convicted of killing April, former Oxford Porter John Neville, has died in prison. Relieved to have finally put the past behind her, Hannah's world is rocked when a young journalist comes knocking and presents new evidence that Neville may have been innocent. As Hannah reconnects with old friends and delves deeper into the mystery of April's death, she realizes that the friends she thought she knew all have something to hide, including a murder. The #1 New York Times bestselling author of One by One returns with an unputdownable mystery following a woman on the search for answers a decade after her friend's murder. This book, I wanted to like it more than I actually did. It just felt very derivative of other thrillers that I had read, and the ending felt rushed to me, and it didn't make a ton of sense. Now that I am done with the reading roundup, I thought I would do something extra and fun and give you a little sneak peek into what the video schedule for May is going to look like. On May 6th, I will be publishing a video where I spring clean my TBR by reading 8 books in 8 days. This is the vlog for which I read a novel love story and The It Girl. I have 6 other books planned, and you'll have to stay tuned and see what they are. Sometime around like May 13th, depending on when my hold comes through, I would like to do a reading vlog for Sherwood by Megan Spooner, because it is the last book I need to read in order to get my first bingo on the 25 before 25 card. Speaking of 25 before 25, I will be doing a check-in at the halfway point to my next birthday, which will be May 17th. At a point, hopefully around May 20th, if I can get my life and my TBR together, I would like to do a video where I let a deck of cards decide my TBR, inspired by Ellen Catherine, as she decides to leave BookTube, kind of doing a video inspired by her in her honor. The problem with that is that I would need to have 52 books on my TBR, which I do not. I am trying to acquire them as fast as possible, so we'll see how that goes. My July 2026 Lost in New York Buddy Read TBR will be picked out on the last Saturday of the month, as they all will be, which will be May 30th. I do them like a month in advance to give people more time to find the book. And assuming all goes well, on May 31st, I will be publishing May's reading roundup. And those are my plans for May, so stay tuned for some fresh new content. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You're the best!